Hi, this is Paul Sykes, Good News Planet. I'm speaking to Monica Willard. Hi, Monica. How are you?
Hi, Paul. I'm great. Thank you.
You know, it's been a real long time since I interviewed you. I can't even remember. It's been years. But all I know is I continue to hear your name in such a nice way about the good things that you've been doing. Your United Religious Initiative, the United Nations Representative, URI.org, and I see you at the UN, and I know you're doing good, so thank you for all the good stuff you're doing, Monica.
Well, thank you, and that goes right back to you because your name always comes with great accolades.
Well, we're peaceniks, and
Yeah.
we're lovers of the human race and the good things that are out there.
Absolutely.
So we're meeting now and talking now because the September 21st, the International Day of Peace, is upon us, and it seems like it's growing. And tell us a little bit about. I know you're involved. I'm going to come over there at the UN along beside you, and tell us some of the things you're involved in.
Well, the International Day of Peace is growing in leaps and bounds, and it is so exciting, not just at the United Nations, but all around the world. One of the things that we have been promoting for years and that will be included in the Secretary General's message is to ask people to pause for peace, to take a minute for peace at 12 noon, and to really send your heartfelt prayers for peace. And I think we need it so much right now, and I pray that this day will just be the start of a wave of peace prayers that continue to embrace the planet, to protect us from engaging in revenge and increasing in war activities.
Well, the United Nations has their declaration that actually asks for practical acts of peace, don't they?
Absolutely, and it's very exciting because we've had a student observance at the United Nations since 1997, and we have about 500 students coming to the UN. They are going to start out with the Secretary General when he rings the peace bell at 9 a.m. This will be webcast at the UN.org webcast. And after the peace bell ceremony, the students who are part of that will continue back into the student observance. The Secretary General will join them. The new President of the General Assembly will address them. And we're going to have the messengers of peace, Jane Goodall, Elie Wiesel, and Michael Douglas, along with Forrest Whitaker and Monique Coleman, who are both, one is with UNESCO and one is with the UN Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yay. You know, I've been a lucky guy, and Good News has been a lucky broadcaster because we have all of those people on Good News over the years.
Wonderful.
Are we lucky?
You are lucky, and I think you're also extremely talented and attract the kind of level of spokespeople because it is important that we get this message out.
You know, it's interesting. I'll just say it because he's such a great guy, Michael Douglas. You know, he's you interview lots and lots. I've had the good grace to interview lots of celebrities on these red carpet lines and things like that. He is always a guy that takes time with people. He says, "I love what you're doing." The good nature of a superstar. There's so much.
Absolutely, and he had to deal with so much when he was dealing with cancer, and he still really took his role as messenger of peace for the United Nations very seriously.
Beautiful. So how does the everyday person get involved with all the things that are happening at the UN or know about it? I've been a little frustrated personally knowing a lot of people at the UN doing so many darn good things and happy to report on it, but so often people say they don't know what's happening there. How does somebody, who wants to learn about the UN know about the UN? Because they're doing a ton of good things there.
The UN is doing remarkable work, and I think that we need to do a much, much better job of getting that message out. Unfortunately, the news, even if you put out press releases and things, the newspaper tends to pick up the more controversial things as opposed to just reporting on some of the amazing good stories. When I think that this is going to be the 10th year that Jane Goodall has been with the students for the International Day of Peace, and that the International Day of Peace has been observed since 1982.
Right.
we certainly need more and more emphasis on getting that word out and having it on everybody's calendar. I think most people on this call, if you look on your calendar, thanks to a wonderful, talented man named Melvin Weiner, who works in the calendar business, he has the UN International Day of Peace on most U.S. calendars and on many that are published around the world.
Aha, that's good news.
So there's one place. And this year, the student observance is really designed for students, so it isn't something that is open to the public to come to. They can watch the UN webcast on at un.org and then just going to the webcast. It will be on Friday the 21st. But there is an event at the UN Chapel, which is a vigil for peace, and it will have different speakers, artists, and prayers. Every 30 minutes there will be a different segment from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And the speakers can be found on the website www.rngo.org, which is the religious NGO committee, the Committee for Religious NGOs at the UN. And it's an amazing lineup of people who are sharing their talents, their skills, their hopes, their dreams. And people are invited to come listen, to pray, to be in company with people who would like to observe the International Day of Peace at a UN facility. And this is the United Nations Church Center on the corner of 1st and 44th Street.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Hopefully they'll also come over to the Times Square where we're going to take some of those flags and bring them into Times Square for not an actual event, but just a sort of a happening where people at noon give some respect to the minute of silence and pause for peace, pause the world for peace, and be part of this big peace wave from New Zealand to Honolulu that we're all so excited about. Monica,
absolutely. I want to thank you for that. And I think this is one of the most exciting things, and I wish I could be in two places because I would be there in a heartbeat. But, of course, I'm with the students that day. But we will be also ringing the bell with Mrs. Bands, and there will be a group inside the church chapel observing that. And throughout the time zone, people will be joining you. But our biggest hope is that the Times Square event will get publicized. And I thank you so much for a leader in helping get the word out.
But the good news, it's just amazing because we've all, I don't know, I got 40 years in communications business, but how it has changed. So in essence, and because I was so lucky, they're giving me the Earth cams in Times Square and probably all over the world, 200 cameras. And so in essence, you can be in the church and you could be watching our broadcast of it live on your phone. Now, aren't we lucky? Isn't this a way that we, with the right content and sharing positive things, the whole world can watch? Most of the world's on cell phones.
Yes,
amazing,
it is true.
Right?
Absolutely.
So,
this is wonderful.
Yeah, we need to next year make sure we broadcast live the church event as well, because there's such good things, and the world needs to see them and appreciate them. I want to ask you a question, Monica, because you're a leader in the community. How did you get involved?
I actually got involved because of nuclear weapons. In 1985, there was a movement. It got started by a woman called Justine Merritt, and Justine said, "I'm an embroiderer. Why am I embroidering when there are nuclear weapons? What can I do to make a difference?" And she asked people to put on cloth, what they could not bear to think of as lost forever in the event of a nuclear war. And ribbons were made to go around the Pentagon on the 40th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I found the ribbon that I had made, and my husband and small children at that time held it as we embraced the Pentagon with this ribbon that went around the Pentagon, across the bridge, down by the reflecting pool, and all the way up to the Senate, to the Capitol building. It was an amazing event to have been a part of. And then the Ribbon International became a non-governmental organization in 1992, and I started representing it there, and then represented Pathways to Peace, and now I represent the United Religions Initiative.
Aha. Beautiful. This is the family. I'm a grandpa. So the having your family, my daughter and son-in-law, he came. We tried our best to pause the world a few years ago. Actually, I was calling Stop the World, and then a gentleman, Maurice Strong, said to me, "That's a little radical." He
Yeah.
said, "Just try to pause it, okay?" But I liked Anthony Newley's song, "Stop the World. I want to get off." He said, "But we don't want to get off. We want to stay on, right?" So
Right.
we paused the world. Now we've pause for peace, and we did something over at Imagine in Strawberry Field. But having, I just wanted to say, because you're saying a beautiful thing. My husband, my kids. You've had good family support to do what you kind of do.
I have absolutely amazing family support to do what I do. My husband is someone who has been to the UN, I don't know how many times since 1992, because he is a wonderful photographer, so we have some good records of many of the events. Mm-hmm. My children have been involved with the activities since they were little. And I am now a grandmother and have an 18-month-old and another grandchild on the way, and hope that will be another generation of peacemakers.
That's beautiful. What a great story. So the religion organization, I have it up here, the URI, and tell us a little bit about that. You know I'm an interfaith minister as well, so please share something about the organization.
URI is an amazing organization. We have what's called cooperation circles, which is our government, the way we organize ourselves. And you must have three distinct faith traditions working together on a similar, working together in an area, and then go through the application to become a cooperation circle in the United Religions Initiative. We have over 2 million people in 80 countries in cooperation circles, and we have regions, and the United Religions Initiative has used the International Day of Peace since it was started, because both Deborah Moldau and myself have been involved with the International Day of Peace since 1995, and the 97 was when the first student observance happened, and we've been working with the UN on that. And the URI was started in the year 2000. And we were both members at the beginning and brought the International Day of Peace because the whole purpose of the United Religions Initiative is to end religiously motivated violence through daily interfaith dialogue to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing for the earth and all living beings. And so that is such a big mission, and offering all kinds of opportunities for people from different faiths to work together, whether it's on something extremely practical like a water pump, or schools or education activities, promoting work for youth and women, and also for getting together for just exchanging interfaith information and sharing each other's holidays. It is just wonderful to meet people from all parts of the world who have been connected through the URI.
Monica, we're all brothers and sisters?
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Last question. What's good news for you, Monica?
What's good news for me? I have to say the way that the International Day of Peace is expanding in cities around the world, to have the mayor of Philadelphia being involved. We have the Mayors for Peace, thanks to Mayor Tremblay in Montreal. We have different schools and universities and organizations doing things throughout the world. We have the United Religions Initiative doing things at UN headquarters in Nairobi, as well as in small towns throughout India. And it is just extremely exciting to know that there is this day that people around the world can work together to plan, to appreciate, and to reflect on being peacemakers.
Hey, I love it. Okay, Monica, thank you very much for sharing good news with us, and I look forward to our continued quest for everybody everywhere to be happy and live very peacefully. And if there is a difference, don't do it in a violent way. Just say, I don't like you, you don't like me, or whatever it is. Things do happen, but don't hurt anyone. Let's calm down.
Absolutely. Actually, if I can just add one more little piece, in 2002, the UN resolution was revised to make this day a day for ceasefire and nonviolence.
Right.
And be it in our homes, our communities, or internationally, it is certainly a big part of the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st.
Okay. Well, we're literally coming out with an old saying called "Make love, not war. Drop your guns." And love, of course, comes in many ways. Hugging somebody and being nice to somebody is loving as well. So it's all good. So, Monica, thank you very much for sharing good news with us.
And thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the 21st.
Okay, thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.